All right. Well, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us for another episode, another session of our CDE AI series, our professional learning series, Learning with AI, Learning about AI. As you are joining, please feel free to introduce yourself in the chat or in comments if you're watching on Facebook, or in the comment section of YouTube if you're watching in the future. Or our future. So feel free to introduce yourself. We are glad you are here. If you'd like to share, let us know how you utilize AI to support your work or to support your learning. Love to hear. All right, we've got Laura from Laco is here. Fantastic. Multilingual support services individual from San Mateo. That's excellent. I do want to thank you for being here. This is an excellent, this is a a much requested topic, I guess I should say. So absolutely glad that you're here, and we are so honored to have some fantastic speakers to share their experience and their expertise in using AI to support multilingual learners. Thanks for joining in the chat there and letting us know how you use AI. We appreciate that. Just a reminder that these particular webinars are based on the California Department of Education's AI guidance, which is called Learning with AI, Learning about AI. And I would encourage you, if you haven't already, to definitely check out the website where this is all located. There's a bit.ly there. Don't worry if you happen to be listening in your car or you're watching Facebook and it's really small screen. I will be sending the resources via email to all registrants within the next couple of days. Also wanted to share all of the recordings of prior sessions are on that website as well. So that is a great way for you to look at whatever topic you are most interested in. Also wanted to point out that there is a downloadable PDF, which is a resource kit that is also linked to the CDE AI guidance. Has some examples of a district and a county office that have been working on AI in their context, and also gives some visuals about our foundational beliefs and the way that we want to really utilize and leverage AI to support our students here in California. And I love all of the comments in the chat. People are here to learn how to support their multilingual learners, which is always a wonderful thing. So thank you for being here. Wanted to just start with letting you all know here in California at CDE what we believe are fundamental skills for educators and students regarding AI. Firstly, really making sure that our students and educators alike know how to be safe while utilizing AI, that they understands the pros and the cons of utilizing AI, so leveraging those capabilities, but also critiquing the inaccuracies, considering the social impacts of AI, and finally demystifying. All of what we do does kind of focus on a portion or many portions of that, and you'll see that throughout today as well. Wanted to let you know that my colleague, Dr. Christina Mattis, who is our broadband coordinator here at CDE, and I come up with these webinars and collaborate to facilitate these for all of you. And we always have an essential question, so to speak. And so tonight's question is, how might we leverage AI to support multilingual learners? And so we have brought in some fantastic speakers to help you learn ways that you can do this so that we can be there for our students. You will see specifically that in the AI guidance, when we're talking about utilizing AI, which is part of that essential question, accessibility and personalization is something that we believe is really important. Uh, and so our multilingual learners have unique unique assets, but also unique needs. And so we absolutely want to focus on ways that we can support them specifically in this webinar. All right. So we are going to begin with a good friend of mine and someone that I have done some great collaborative work with as well, Judy Blakeney, who is out of the Capistrano Unified School District, is a CTE ELD teacher, has also been an instructional coach, and works with a lot of multilingual learners. So, Judy, if you'd like to further introduce yourself, please feel free to do so, and then I will stop sharing so that you can take over.
Thanks so much, Kat. So I am a CTE and an ELD teacher. I'm also an Adobe innovator and district leader. So I have spent a lot of time working with Adobe. And so a lot of my examples will be from that. So we're going to first take a look at some experiences that I've had. And really, I think what I wanted to talk to you about is kind of the good, the bad, and the ugly of what's worked. What did I learn along the way? And then what might be useful for you as well. So here's like my background. But my question is, how are multilingual learners and their teachers using artificial intelligence? And really, this is our anecdotes. And my subtitle, which I didn't want to print, but is kind of like the good, the bad, and the ugly, because I found that I made lots of mistakes along the way, but was still able to learn. So the first purposes and use cases I was looking at are student voice and language use. So that I did a lot of image generation within Adobe Express. I'm going to share some examples of that. And then in addition, as a team on my school site, which is a Title I middle school, in San Juan Capistrano. We did some preparation for success on tests, trying to couple student voice and choice with challenging tasks, creating tasks that would prepare them to be successful on the LPAC assessment. And then lastly, for my own efficiency and creativity, I tried to create tasks, not just doing it myself, but using AI that include student culture, interest, and background knowledge so that to be more engaging for them. So we're going to see a few examples of that. Kat, if you want to monitor the chat, if you jump in, if you see something that I need to respond to. So at the beginning of the school year, we did a very simple student voice where, and this is my example of with an image, and this was all created in Adobe Express. I created the example and the colors of my school, put my image in there, and then said what I was interested in. And my purpose in this is I knew we would be doing lots of Adobe, and this was for my ELD2 class. So students that were just joining middle school and having their first ELD class, or were at a language level coming out of being a newcomer. So you'll get access to these slides and you can remix and create your own. But I wanted them to have confidence in actually using and expressing who they were and sharing that. So we did this in the first week of school. And then after we've done this activity, we built on it with an AI image generation. So I took a picture of this template that I'd created. And what I really love about Adobe Express is and this was like we did an activity where we talked about what are the behavioral expectations based on our school's list, and they had to write a sentence of what it sounds like and what are the best choices within a classroom. And then they got to create their own image. So if you see on the left, I clicked on the image and then it shows what the template of the prompt was. So this one is I'm a 13-year-old Latino boy with a brown eyes, brown skin, and I'm wearing a baseball cap with a which is our school. So they were able, this generated four options and I chose one, but I just wanted you to see what it looks like when they're doing it. And the great thing is like you can use Spanish, you can use English, you can use a mixture of it and still get really incredible images that they create. So it's very empowering for them and kind of shows them, hey, this my being able to use language and explain and write what I want and is gives immediate feedback. So after we've done that, we moved, and this is like fast forward to the end of the school year. We did similarly where they're generating an image that looks like them in the background, and then they're writing words about who they are. So I had a pre-writing activity which kind of looked like this. It had a circle and the prompt where they would edit it and before actually going to make this, and then the words that would describe them so that they had an example. So this kind of shows you of how they've progressed, and this is one of the examples from one of my students that I chose to share with you. So that's kind of the student voice and language use and empowerment of them having practice with low stakes, really, to have success in that. And then we moved on to preparing students for a success on tests, particularly in the LPAC assessment, and coupling student voice and choice with challenging tasks. So we built templates for question practice using the LPAC practice test. I'm going to show you that. And then I later generated images and created separate tasks for them to do. And then following, where I really want to get to is having students create images and then based on tasks. And then I created new written explanations for them. So I have some examples to show you of that. So here's the practice test. Many of you, if you've had LPAC students, you might have seen this, but this is for grades 6 to 8. It gives four sentences, and then they have to do tasks. They have to do a sentence extension. They have to identify errors. They do a sentence combining, and I think they do a prediction. So from that, we created documents and an image. And so a lot of my students were interested in soccer. And so I created the first task, which had these soccer players. I had sentences that were kind of the similar to the previous ones. And then they had to do those same four things. Um, After that, I moved into having students create the images. So for example, here's um, here's an image that a student created, and I have a lot of boys in this class, probably two-thirds boys or males, one-third females. And so these were boys playing games on gamers. So that was the first one I chose, and the sentences that I wrote with the same sort of challenges. But my idea was, and the student who created it, nobody wanted to know, he didn't want to people to know that he had done it, but it was really great that he was able to, and he had been a newcomer last year. So I was really impressed with his achievements. And then here's another one. And this was volleyball, which are right outside of my classroom, lots of volleyball playing. Again, and then this last one, which I didn't add the text to, but just shows what they could create and that the different students were able to. I would hope to actually in the past, I would hope to, if I could do it again, have them start writing some of the sentence prompts that they would expand upon, but we didn't get to that. We got finished with LPAC and moved on. So the next thing that I was really working on is creating tasks that were more culturally interesting for them. But first, we did this activity with using Britannica School for background information, Book Creator, and Adobe Express. So it was kind of a app smash, if you will, that I went through. So I'm going to show you and pull out of this. Here's Book Creator. So we had collaboratively written a 5-paragraph essay. I created an assignment in Adobe Express where they created the images for the 5-paragraph essay to go with it. Actually, 6 images, a book cover, and these are all of their books that they created in Book Creator. So I'm just going to pull back here and show you this is what the Britannica School, and this is free. I think the California State Library gets this. And so we had all of our research for here. You can cite it. It has lots of multilingual learners supports as well. This is from the middle school. Your students can have access to this and you can as well. So that was our source of information. And then here is like a series of the books that I actually shared from here that you should have access to. And then the giraffe one, this is an example of how to like create an image in Adobe Express, which I want to demonstrate for you right now. Any questions yet, Kat?
No, no questions, but I did want to point out for those that weren't aware that what you are showing is free for schools. So Adobe Express is free for K-12 schools. Sometimes your IT department will have to like turn a little button to turn it on, so to speak, but it is free of charge. And love that you also showed the Britannica resource from California State Library, which of course is also free of charge. So
Yes.
yeah, and I love just the idea that the text to image has that immediate feedback.
Yes.
That's really exciting. So, but yeah, no other questions in the chat at the moment, but I will certainly let you know if any come up.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so here I have a document within the workspace. And there's lots of resources within Adobe Express that with videos and examples that you could show to do this. But I'm just going to demo this. So I want to generate an image that's square. And then I get a blank place here, like to write what I want to prompt. So giraffe, mother, and baby, I don't even know what they're called, are on the plains in East Africa eating grass. And let's see what it is, how it comes out. So it takes maybe 30 seconds to generate. And then down below, those will be the ones that come up. Okay, so can click through and see the different choices. And I could have also, instead of generating an image, I kind of like that one. I could have done media and searched for images, which a lot of my students did at the beginning. Okay, so this would be like for the introduction paragraph. And then I had students basically download these as the selected page as a PNG on their page on their Chromebooks. And after they got into this, and I'll go into this book, this is my sample book. And you can see I had a cover page, my name on it. I had the intro paragraph, and then let's say this is the body paragraph. Let me see if I can get this to where I want to find it. There's the folder. There it is. Okay, so just going to move this over a little bit. When I'm here, I can click on I've just added things on this page so I can add things. I'm going to add for images. I think I could probably drag and drop it. Let's see if it'll work. It didn't, I think there went. So it didn't go inside my box, but it went, I can make that smaller. And then this is the text box. I gave them a copy of the text and they just copy and pasted in there. So that's how the books were made. And basically part of my goal was I wanted them to be able to visualize what we had written together and then be able to turn it into a book that they could then read or read to a sibling or a peer. Okay, so now you kind of have seen the giraffe, um, which was working on a 5-paragraph informational essay. And next, we're working on another, like more culturally responsive. We had done a story earlier in the year where we had written about, read about giraffes and informational text and then analyzed it. And then now I wanted to get something that was more in their wheelhouse in their own cultural background. So most of my students are from Latin American countries, not all Mexico, but mostly. And so I knew of this. I had like a children's book that's that of Coyote and Borreguita, the Little Lamb, And so I had them creating that. And you can see, and they had to do a lot of images. It was the same workflow. They had to create the images um, in in Adobe Express and then upload them here. But if just looking at this, you can see that there much more of them are generated in AI. We had a little problems with it. In terms of how we decided to do these, to create it, I used Perplexity to write the story, to rewrite it and revise it. Um, I had a table. Let me see if I can get out of here and then show you the document. Let's see, I think it's this one. Basically, I this is my revised document, but I had this space where they could write what they wanted to have in their picture, kind of all planning ahead for the prompt. And then they would copy and paste. They would write this here, they draft it, probably with a pencil. It was printed out, and then go ahead and generate the images in Adobe and download them, and then be able to copy the images and the text into the uh, book creator book. And the one I just showed you was the redesigned form. First, I had it like kind of squished together and written on. And so I guess that's kind of part of my story for you as well. I have ideas. I think the workflow will go well, but it's a multi-step workflow. And like first time we tried it, I thought we would use Adobe Express within Book Creator. It didn't work. And then we had to go outside. And so I had to like restart and redo multiple times. And I hope I'm not running out of time, but here the students created images, they downloaded the images, they add them to their Chromebook. And then I also have in this the link for the Book Creator app. Let's see if I can put this copy link address. And you might be able to get into this. We have a question?
Yeah, there were a couple questions.
Okay.
So one question was about is Book Creator free, which Ephraim was able to clarify that each teacher gets one library with 40 books for free. Do you have the free or paid version, Judy? I'm curious.
I had the free version, but I was able to get it upgraded because of being an innovator at
Okay.
Adobe Express. So that, wait a second, where are we? Trying to get this down. Um, so that kind of changed my access. Um, I have a lot of resources that I added to this presentation, and I'll put when you get that, it'll be great. But I'll kind of get to the last part of it, which was like, why would you do this? And for me, I just thought about what are the benefits. And for students, it's AI and creativity give them a reason to use language. There's a purpose for it, and it empowers them to lead in their learning in terms of creating things, and gain access to and confidence in using AI for multiple purposes. And then for teachers, just being able to get help in creating engaging learning activities for multilingual learners. And even if it doesn't work, you can revise and revise. And I think that was the most important thing that I learned, is that it was it was important to not give up, but also to show to students, hey, we're trying to do new stuff. Oops, it might not work, but I'll try it again tomorrow. We'll figure out something else. And many times, I think the most amazing thing, the best story to end with, is I had a student who came in reading at K1 level, and he was one of the students that finished this activity, this Borgita and Coyote book, the first day, all in one time. And he was one who wouldn't at the beginning of the year write anything unless I told him how to spell it. So I think the practice and the experience taught him that he could risk and he could try new things and he could succeed. So that's kind of my story there. I think it's time for me to stop sharing.
Thank you so much, Judy. I love that students are building that confidence. Wanted to know, there was a question in the chat about what safeguards you have to ensure that the writing that the students are doing is their own and not AI generated.
Um, they the if I was in magic school, I could have had them right there, but I, I wasn't really looking for that. We were just doing image generation as opposed to having them generate other stories elsewhere. So at the level where I was, that was not an issue. I have been an English teacher in the past, and I would just say that as English teachers, we know our students as writers of writing, teachers of writing, and you know when you ask them, "Oh, do you know what this word is?" and they don't know what it is, and you've seen their writing. So I think it's a big challenging question, but it's also one where I believe we have to continue to educate them and teach them what to do.
Yeah, thank you. The challenging part about that question too is that the AI plagiarism detectors are not very accurate at all. So that is problematic. So definitely getting to know your students, knowing their writing is really important. Also wanted to share that we have in the chat a recommendation about a tool called Numi that allows the user to create avatars and characters for creating graphic novels. So that is a new one to me. Thank you for sharing that. There's always new things for us to learn. So definitely appreciate that. I did have one quick question as well, Judy, based on the quest, and you're getting thank yous in the chat. Based on the question about the AI generated writing, making sure students aren't turning in that. I know Adobe Express and Canva, I'm not sure familiar you are with that, but they allow for text to image generation. I remember when I tried it with students, year and a half, 2 years ago, the text generator was not available for the student portion. Do you know if that's changed? Are they even able to do that in the student
Um,
account?
the student accounts can write and generate themselves, but I don't know about a text generator in AI. It's more text to image. So they have to
Yeah.
write the text that generates the images.
And I think, yeah, and so that's the benefit of some of these tools that have Gen AI built in. If it's a student facing tool like Canva or Adobe Express or Google Classroom or whatever, there's typically more safeguards. Than, going straight to ChatGPT, which is not for PACOPA compliant anyway, so that's
Right.
definitely not allowed. But that is I don't know the details on that, but there are generally, you'll want to check, but there are generally more safeguards. So Judy, you are getting a lot of thanks for sharing all of these great ideas, and love that you shared the Wakelet as well. So thank you. And Judy will stick around as well for the rest of the session, I believe. Yes.
Yes.
In case there are additional questions also. Awesome. Judy, is that you sharing?
I don't think so. Did I stop?
Okay,
I
perfect. No,
stopped.
that's fine. That's fine. All right. Well, then I now have the great pleasure of introducing a fellow Central Valley resident, I guess I would say, Efrain Tovar, who I've known for a long time. He works with middle school newcomers and has actually had some of his work with getting multilingual learners that are newcomers to do computer science, actually, and that's been recognized at a national level, which is really exciting. So, and founder of the California Newcomer Network. So, Ephraim, thank you for being here. If you want to introduce yourself and move forward, please do so.
Well, thank you so much for allowing me to be here. Judy, thank you so much for your awesome tools as practitioners. We are here to learn from each other, right? I can't believe that I'm ending my 29th year in education and I still feel like a first year teacher, constantly learning how might I be able to use the tools that are out there to become an effective, teacher of multilingual learners, right? And so again, my name is Efrain. I teach in Selma Unified School District here in the heart of Central California. So if you've ever tasted sun-made raisins, that's literally in our back doors. So thank you so much, all of you, for being here. So I kind of want to start off with giving you three areas that we're going to focus on today. Number one, we want to focus on this big question: how can we use AI to build linguistic bridges and not barriers? And the three areas we want to focus on today is how can we amplify student voice and identity across languages. Number two, AI levels the playing field for accessing academic content. And finally, digital and AI literacy is a civil right in the 21st century, right? So kind of take a look at this image. I did use AI to create this. And again, looking at it, it's really about how can we leverage everyone's language as an asset, right? Uh, what we believe about our newcomers, what we believe about our multilingual learners, our plural lingual scholars really is a mindset. And so it is very, very important for us to begin to have these conversations within our departments, within our sites, within our districts to begin having the conversation. How can we use AI to build linguistic bridges and not barriers? Which is a very, very important question, right? As we continue, I kind of want to make this shift now, right? We talk about multilingualism, we talk about students, learners, right? But I love this phrase that I heard from one of my good friends that's here, and again, I do want to give a shout out to Dr. Renee Bryant, because the first time I heard this term, it like blew my mind, right? Again, the difference between being a multilingual learner and a plurilingual scholar. So let that sink in. And so why plurilingual learners should be taught AI, intentionally taught AI, regardless of English proficiency, right? We know that plurilingualism refers to an individual's ability to be flexible, to flexibly use and blend elements from multiple languages, right? So I myself, I speak English, I speak Spanish, I understand these two worlds. I'm able to navigate with these two worlds, and, with fluidity. And so, but not only that, I'm also a cultural broker, a language broker, a bridge maker. So I think our multilingual learners, the goal is not to stay stuck there, but to move them to plurilingualism, right? And to be able to call our students scholars. It says something to our identity, right? You're not just a learner, you are a scholar. You have abilities, you have talents that go, again, going back to this asset base as we view our students. I often say that before we teach, we have to reach. So hence teaching, right? So think about that. Connecting with our multilingual learners, our plurilingual scholars, our newcomers, right? My passion is how do we work with newcomers? How do I work with newcomers when I have 8, 9 languages represented in my classroom? I think we're in a perfect time where we can leverage artificial intelligence to help us teachers. And today you saw some awesome digital tools, right? And how can we leverage these tools to nurture their full linguistic cognitive selves, even if they're not yet fluent in English? So I want to start off with this approach, right? And can we create this holistic approach to language development? We all know that everyone is a teacher of language, yes, regardless. PE teachers are teachers of language. Science teachers are teachers of language, right? We all teach academic language development, right? But in California, in this great state of ours, we also teach, you know, integrated ELD, right? This idea that language is not separate from learning content. It's still there. We can still learn language as we learn content. And then for those of you, my peeps that are out there that teach designated ELD, we thank you for the work that you do, because too often this paradigm is reversed. All of the responsibility of language development lies on who? On us designated ELD teachers. But today, again, we're only one part of the pyramid in this designated ELD, where the sacred time where we teach language development, right? And today, I kind of want to launch this fourth tier. This fourth tier is called PLD. And what is PLD? It is, again, prompt engineering language development. Because if we do not teach our multilingual scholars, our plural lingual scholars, how to become effective prompt engineers in their L1, their L2, or even in their L3, they're going to miss out on some great opportunities and access, right, to future ready jobs. So I think it is imperative for us to be able to, again, lay this foundation that we must begin to teach them how to become effective creators of prompting sentences, right? And so again, I want to throw that new term, PELD, being intentional about teaching our plural lingual scholars to become prompt engineers in your designated ELD, right? Because again, as you saw today with Judy, she was creating these beautiful images, but in order to get that image, in order to get quality out, your input needs to be good input, a good sentence, right? So I would argue that PELD is designated ELD, is integrated ELD, because you are teaching language. What a great way to get our plural lingual scholars to begin this journey to become prompt engineers, would you say? I love this quote, right? But because prompt engineering is the art of communicating eloquently to an AI. It is a powerful, powerful quote. So again, AI can amplify voice and identity across languages. As we take a look at this, I want to show you this image. I love this image because too often our plural lingual scholars, they're proficient in their L1. Regardless, even your slice, right? They're still proficient because they have, BICS. They might not have CALP, but they definitely have BICS, right? They have that Vulgate language, that street language that they're able to communicate. But too often, because of language barrier or maybe because of resources and tools, they're not able to articulate, they're not able to share what they're feeling. Think about that. So the question is, how might we leverage AI to minimize this language divide, right? If we wait until they're fluent in English, we delay their ability to communicate, create, and connect. We were all created to connect, right? Even our newcomers, right? And so again, using creativity. Today, you saw some awesome tools by Judy, right? Like Book Creator. I too use Book Creator within my designated ELD, and I'm a big proponent of getting our ELs or plural lingual scholars to become creators of content, right? Creators of beautiful designed ELD worksheets, right? And not just consumers of ELD worksheets, right? So how can we do that? So I wanted to show you this video because this video is a powerful,
When
powerful
I
video.
first came to
Take a look.
school, I felt sad, alone, and scared. I felt alone because I don't speak English. I only speak Arabic. I was sad because I left my family in Yemen. I was scared because I don't know anyone in my school because they speak on their language. But now I felt happy, excited, and optimistic. أول يوم لي عندما جئت إلى المدرسة شعرت حزين وحيد خائف. كنت وحيدا لأني لا أتحدث الإنجليزية ولا أحد يتحدث العربية. كنت حزين لأني تركت عائلتي في اليمن. كنت خائف لأني لا أعرف أحد في مدرستي. كنت وحيدا لأنهم يتحدثون لغة أخرى، ولكن الآن أنا أشعر سعيد وتفاعل مرح.
Isn't that beautiful to be able to go again and give them access and leveraging AI to be able to translate that which they wrote in their heart language, in their home language, and to give us teachers an insight, right? So we live in a perfect time where language is no longer a barrier. But how might we leverage these tools to be able to connect with them, right? Again, going back to that teaching word, got to reach before we teach. And again, AI can definitely help us, in the playing field for accessing content, right? We've used some tools like ChatGPT, Diffit, Magic School, where students can receive customized scaffolds, summaries, and sentence frames instantly, right? So instead of doing the work for them, we're equipping them with tools to do the work for us. And let's be reminded again that who should be doing the heavy lifting? The students should be doing the heavy lifting, right? And so teachfx.com, another great tool that I've learned, by Dr. Renee Bryan, shout out to you, amiga. Again, how can we monitor our student talk, right? So research says that, students should be doing the heavy lifting. So 30% of our time, should be direct instructions. Teachers are doing the talking, but again, getting kids to communicate to each other, right? That's how we learn language. We learn language not by doing worksheets. We learn language through connections, through meaningful relationships within our classroom. But then again, how can we leverage AI to do this? Right, here's an image of two former newcomers of mine. You can Google me and look up Edutopia to see how I leverage, students' home language in my classroom as an asset as they begin to become plurilingual scholars, right? So again, how might we leverage AI? So I'm going to show you right now. I'm going to kind of give you a quick demo on how to do this. So here's a magazine that we use in designated ELD with our newcomers as well as our long-term English learners. And so here is a worksheet that it was designed leveraging multiple tools, leveraging Diffit, leveraging Magic School, leveraging ChatGPT, and I created this worksheet with it took me about two minutes, right? So again, as a teacher, how might I leverage these tools to become an effective teacher of language development? So again, we have some visuals, right? Again, we have some vocabulary development. And again, this year is the second year that I had where all of my newcomers only speak Spanish. So I'm providing this academic language, even in their L1 and images, right? Using imagery to connect the word as they begin to learn these words, right? And go on. And then using ChatGPT to create a summary of this complex text. Because again, how do we scaffold this complex text when there's lives or they're safe newcomers? If you don't know that term, a safe newcomer is a student with adequate or ample formal education, right? So they might be able to read the article already in the designated Lexile level. But what about our SLIFEs? What about those newcomers that are 2, 3, 4 years behind grade level in their L1? Yes, they must still have access to rigor, access to content. So you can leverage this text and then scaffold it so that they have access, right? And then again, giving it to them in their primary language, reinforcing this language. But then again, what if they cannot read in their L1? How many of you have newcomers that cannot read in their L1? I do. So guess what? I can now convert this Google Doc into a web page. And by that, I'm able to leverage AI tools like HelperBird. And here's my web page of a Google Doc. I can now go down here and I'm going to select this text. I right click on my text and go to my beautiful extension called HelperBird. And I know I'm going through this fast, but that's okay because you can go back and take a look at the video, right? See, Juan? Thank you, Juan, for being here today, Juan. All right, so here's my text. Look at that. I've now annotated all of the words that are nouns, parts of speech. So you're not teaching in isolation, but now I can listen to this text.
One sunny day.
Right? And I can slow this down. I can go over to sunny and to a bisyllabic word, right? And know what sunny is. And here's the word for sunny in Spanish. Let's say I can't read that word in Spanish because I'm not literate in my L1. I can click on it.
Soleado.
Soleado. Everyone say it with me. Soleado. Right? That's really slow. Now try level 2. Soleado. Soleado. Level 3. Soleado. There you go. Look at that. How many level 3s we have in here? Woo woo. But some of you are still at level 1. And that's okay. Language development takes time. And so I have this, I can switch this to multiple languages. Isn't that awesome? where now you're empowering students to take ownership of their own learning, ownership of their own literacy as they practice their oracy. So that is one way I leverage AI within complex text, right? And so as we kind of wrap things up here, again, I truly believe that digital literacy is a civil right in the 21st century. Think about that. So teaching AI to plurilingual learners, scholars, is not about translation. It's about transformation. So I leave you with this. So every time we introduce an AI tool to our plurilingual scholars, let's not just give them a computer, because just giving them AI will not make them into great prompt engineers. We learn language through interaction. We learn language through safety. We learn language through risk taking. We learn language through feeling that it's okay for me to fail in class. Failure is an option in designated ELD, in integrated ELD, in academic language development, right? Because we are all language learners. And so again, I'll leave you with this. So every time we introduce an AI tool to our plurilingual scholars, we are not just closing the gap, we are building a bridge. So let's ensure that every plurilingual scholar has access to these powerful tools, even for those of you that are in the rural community, like Selma, even to those that are in the Bay Area or San Diego area, or for my colleagues up in Northern California. All of our plurilingual scholars must have, should have access to these powerful tools. They need guidance and they need support so that someday they may become the great teachers that we need in this state. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Efrain. You are already getting some thank yous and some shout outs. So appreciate the pedagogical approach, right? This isn't just, oh, let's use AI, but doing it in a thoughtful way, research-based. Now, you may have noticed that with both Judy and Efrain, they were going through and demonstrating the use of some tools. And so if that was too quick for you, as I've said, it's okay because there will be a recording. You'll be able to access that on Facebook if you follow the CDE Facebook page, but also within the next couple of days, I will be sending the recording link to all registrants. So stay tuned for that, and it will be coming. I also want to thank Efrain and Judy for dropping your email addresses in the chat, and I really want to thank you both because we have practitioners who are working with students every day that spoke with us today. And we know that that is where those connections and where those amazing learning opportunities occur. So it's great to hear real stories of real educators doing this work. And we thank you so much for volunteering your time and your insight with all of us. Like I said, lots of thank yous in the chat. I'm going to go ahead and share again. What I'd like to do is if there are any questions or any comments, feel free to continue to add those to the chat. Thank you, Judy, for adding another resource. That's excellent. And like I said, do want to let you know that you will be receiving an email with the resources, the link to this presentation. Also, we want to hear from you. If you're not aware, Senate Bill 1288 was recently passed, which calls for an AI work group. And we will be sending out a survey, and there will be a link to that so that you can tell us what's happening in AI in your neck of the woods. What are challenges you have? What ways can we support you? What successes you may have? So there is a question in the chat. Do your districts have an AI policy, and do they make you vet the tools you use before having scholars use them? So let's start with Judy. What would be your answer to that question?
We are in the process of building a policy. We had an AI task force this past year. There's going to be an AI of group of 200 teachers, which is maybe 10% of the teachers to be trainer of trainers on both secondary and elementary. Um, I, the district vets things and provides them to us, but also my district ed tech director is actively involved with the county office of ed, and they do a lot of training and discussions and training there too. So I feel lucky to be in a district where people are pretty dialed in.
Excellent. Awesome. Ephraim, how about in your context?
So yeah, in my context, that we are just at the initial stage of just having the conversation with AI, right? How do we systematically roll out AI? Should we roll out AI? So we're just at the beginning stages of that. So, but I do want to kind of give a shout out to ABC Unified. So down in Southern Cal, they are like fully immersed in AI. They have policies. So uh, another great district, if you want to connect with them and take a look at their policies and how teachers are implementing AI. So shout out.
Excellent. And I agree, Ephraim, we did have ABC Unified representatives come and speak with us when we talked about policy development. They had a great approach that truly included multiple educational partners, including students and parents. And they have a student AI toolkit, I believe it's called. So yeah, great resources. Wanted to let you know too, great question about when will we find out who was selected for the work group. Thank you for that question. We received nearly 600 applications, which is very exciting for all of that interest, but we want to be sure that we are reviewing them. There are blind reviews occurring, multiple reads to ensure that we go through this process in a good way. And so that's occurring right now. Want to also let you know that there will be opportunities for your voice to be heard, whether you are selected for the work group or not. So want to make sure that you're aware of that. But the goal is that we will be sending out notifications in June. So stay tuned. Thank you for that question. And thank you to all of you. So thank you to all of you for all that you do. Thank you for your interest in supporting our multilingual learners, and have a wonderful day.